To get the Crime Writers on After Show right now, go to patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie, and this is Crime Writers On. Crime Writers On is the original true crime review podcast that digs into true crime, pop culture, other podcasts. And on this episode, everyone in this crazy civil trial is actually an actor, except for the one juror who believes the whole thing is real. We'll go back to our May 2023 review of the hidden camera documentary, Jury Duty. Joining me to get that done and more is true crime author, TV journalist, and host of These Are Their Stories podcast, my husband and love of my life, Kevin Flynn. Hello, Kevin.
Do we really call it a documentary?
Yes.
I mean, it
documented Ronald's journey.
It did. It's unscripted to the extent that it was improvised and scripted. Anyway, it was such a great show. Kind of blew us out of the water. I want to point out that on Friday, April 3rd, Jury Duty 2 has its season finale.
Okay.
And so we are going to be talking about that on Monday. But for today, sort of a prep, we're going to go back to our May 15th, 2023 review of Jury Duty.
Let it roll.
All right.
Oh, I'm stoked to the max. I'm so happy to be here. I'm going to be upset if I don't get on the jury, for sure.
Documentarians are granted unfettered access to a civil trial and the deliberations of its jury. The panel includes Ronald Gladden, who takes his role earnestly. What he doesn't know is that the judge, the lawyers, and his 11 fellow jurors are all actors.
Are there any other reasons aside from this trip that you feel that you would not be able to be a good juror for this matter?
Sir.
I also am racist.
I'm sorry. You're a racist?
No, I'm sorry. I'm not racist. I was told that would work.
Who told you that?
When alternate juror James Marsden, played by the real James Marsden, gets the jury sequestered, Ronald remains unaware of the elaborate charade as he interacts with quirky characters, ridiculous situations, and bizarre testimony.
It's true that you were once arrested for masturbating in a movie theater.
Yes, that's true. What was the movie? Pacific Rim Uprising.
It's not sexy.
What?
I saw that. There was zero arousal for me.
Jury Duty, available on Amazon's Freevee, wraps its scripted trial in a real-life comedy of manners featuring an unsuspecting everyman. But Ronald surprises both the audience and the producers with his heartwarming tolerance to the idiosyncratic jurors, the oddball defendant, and the outrageous set pieces engineered for his benefit. Spoiler alert, we are going to be talking about plot points from Jury Duty. So if you want to remain spoiler-free, go to the estimated time code in our show notes for our thumbs up or thumbs down reviews. Okay, so Kevin, this was something that when I first saw the trailer for, I was like, that looks hilarious, but how can it last for 8 episodes, right?
7 or 8 episodes,
It just seems like a one-note thing that maybe would be good for a quick, episode of America's Funniest Home Videos.
Or Candid Camera.
Right, but
how
can they pull it out? It really all depends on execution, right?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, to say this was so original and incredibly funny. I mean, with this concept, you're only ever going to get one shot. You can never do a season 2 because people will catch on. So it really shoots the apple right off the top of William Tell's son's head, or however that went down. I mean, I think that it just was that, there was so much planning put into it, and that the actors do such a great job, with a lot of improv, but also a lot of, charted directions to go. And we see sort of at the very end, they have their own choose your own adventure. If A happens, if B happens, things will turn out. But I mean, it's just so good. And of course, it's because you have a unique person as the center of the story, which is Ronald. Yeah, but he isn't really a unique person, right, Toby? I mean, I think they set out to cast somebody that, I don't want to say they're planning on making fun of their protagonist. I just don't think that they thought they were going to have a protagonist that was going to be as ultimately successful as Ronald was. I mean, the casting choice is not particularly inspired in many ways, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, he seems like the default, right? He's like a sort of amiable, youngish white guy. So I guess maybe that made it feel safer. Yeah, I don't know where they found this guy. Like
Craigslist.
Craigslist. He applied.
Didn't you see the last episode?
Yeah, I did.
Was my
but
favorite thing. I thought.
But how'd they like narrow it down to him? I mean, because he couldn't have been the only person, right? I mean, they had a lot of choices. So yeah, I mean, he ends up being the perfect person for this in that he just kind of navigates everything. Like he's like sort of very tolerant, and it's not that he's not like these guys are nuts or these guys are weird, but that he's just sort of accepting of it and kind of appreciates people for the way, I mean, they're actors obviously, but for the way they're sort of portraying themselves. He just seems like very sort of inclusive, and in the end, he was like the right person to choose for the jury foreman, even though it was a setup.
Yeah. I mean, Laura, doesn't the whole thing sort of depend on, though? I mean, he's obviously surrounded by actors, and some of the actors are more, there's like a spectrum, right? Of like everyman, and then it goes, and it seems like it was really, I think, a tightrope, because there were some characters in this that were so just to this, like the one line of being like, strange enough that if you met them in real life, you'd be like, is this person real? But then they would sort of pull back. Like they really had to cast the actor characters perfectly. Like I think the bailiff was perfect. Yeah. I think some of the jurors were just subtle enough to be like Vanessa, who was played by Cassandra, who the bailiff got her name wrong that one time. Perfect. Like just enough amount of shade, just enough amount of subtlety. Perfect. But then of course you had Todd, Mr. Chairpants,
who was my favorite.
I mean, Chance? But don't you think that tight rope of like having to have enough outrageousness and having to have enough subtlety, but then throwing James Marsden in on top of it, like that is hard to fucking pull off.
Well, I think what was so great about it is when you know at the end, when you come in and see how they set this up, I mean, they were like pushing the envelope throughout the entire taping of this documentary or mockumentary or whatever we want to call it, to see how far they could push it before Ronald has a reaction where he's like, this is fucking bullshit. But I mean, like right off the bat during the voir dire, you've got the person who's like, well, I'm in the Reddit Bureau of Investigations. And then you have the guy who's like, yeah, I have 36 kids. I can't be away from my kids. And he's like, 30, my students, So I think you have so many different, people that are really pushing it, waiting to see the reaction, waiting to see. I mean, so many things in this. I'm like, oh my God, that's the best part. And then something else happens. And I'm like, no, that's the best part. And Ronald, he just like, just when you think, oh, this is finally going to be the thing, like the weird, my favorite scene, well, one of my favorite scenes, the bed sex jumping scene.
I stay still. Right. Somebody else jumps on the bed. Because then it's not me. Bed is just going up and down. I mean, that's.
So wait, so you'll park the car in the garage.
Exactly.
And then someone else will have to come in and jump on your bed?
He just like laughs it off. And I'm like, okay, that's the point where I would have been like, really?
Yeah.
Really? But I think that's what makes this so fun, is that when you get that retrospective look back and you look at all these ridiculous things, you're like, oh God, like the guy, the chairpant guy who's like sliding notes under the door.
Yes.
Todd.
Yes. I actually think, and Kevin, I wanted to ask you about this because I think that putting a celebrity in there was the key to the whole thing. Because I think that Ronald was so distracted in some ways by interacting with a celebrity that that he had like a truly distracting foil that was like playing cover almost for some of the weirdness happening around him.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but James Marsden is just a delight in this, and the fact that he could keep pulling it off. I mean, I keep thinking that there are certain actors and their skills are like improv, and there's like 11 of them doing this. And then there's James Marsden, and you don't know, like, really. It's like when you see a movie star, all of a sudden they're on Broadway and they're singing and dancing. You're like, I didn't know they could do that. And so, but I should have known because they're a great actor. And so he's like absolutely fearless. And, he will just do whatever to poke fun at his own celebrity. And just the fact that he's the one that gets them all sequestered, it's just, it was brilliant. Yeah, I mean, he makes for a great, I don't want to say a foil, but his celebrity is something that, kind of his big credit card can save everybody. Like, when there's at Margaritaville and they run up a bill and it's like, okay, I'll pay for it, but you got to arm wrestle me for it.
Yeah, he's famous, but not famous enough. Like, he's just famous enough.
And Ronald keeps telling, you were in this movie, you're in that movie.
Oh, yeah, last night I rewatched, I forgot how good you were in that.
You play one of my top 5 favorite roles of all time. Dude, you probably can't guess. The judge is in it the whole time.
I haven't done many courtroom dramas.
Oh, it's not. It's not a real judge.
Sex Drive.
Dude, my God.
Did you buy that one, or did you watch it on Hulu?
No, I bought it.
There we go.
Like, Ronald, even the way he interacts with this famous person is just so lovely.
Yeah.
And it's believable. And it's like he doesn't like suck up to him. He's not like overly impressed by him. But at the same time, he's like running lines with him, like helping him practice for his stupid fake audition. Let's just
sometimes. What did he say? I got wounds. Sometimes that's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah. So Toby, let's talk about like just what it's like, just because this does represent something, even though it's fake, that is real when you are thrown together with people for a period of time. I don't know. I mean, a jury is one, because let's be real. There is some legal stuff in here, but not really. It really is just kind of a social experiment. What happens when you are thrown together with people who are not like you? How do you think it succeeds in that way?
I thought it was like remarkably accurate based on my experience. I mean, I was never sequestered, but it is like, it's just a cross section, right? So you just get, whoever on your jury, and then you're trying to all get together and make a decision on something. And you're coming at it from very different angles and different amounts of paying attention while the trial's going on. There's a woman, she's on 2 juries, I think, with me. Like in New Hampshire, you like get jury duty and you get 2 weeks and you can do however many trials you can get through in 2 weeks. So I did 3 trials. I think this one was on 2 of them, or she was on 1 and made a big impression. The judge was constantly talking to her, like, stop chewing gum, stop laughing at something that you're like reading in your lap. It was just like, she was just constantly being inappropriate. And then she like would act really put out when the judge would call her out for it. So it was, I mean, it's an interesting thing. Like, I get the kind of philosophy behind it is that, community, like, get people from the community to pass judgment on a person's guilt or innocence, or in the case of some of the stuff I was doing, their liability in certain situations. Yeah. So I felt like this, it's obviously a little exaggerated. Like, the characters are a little bit over the top, but it wasn't like, it kind of captured the basic feel of being in a jury room, I would say.
So Kevin, what if it had been somebody different than Ronald?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know if this really works, because like in a parallel universe, it's like this weird, it's like punked. And, all of a sudden it becomes the hero, and that's what they refer to whoever was going to be in this role. It becomes their annoyance. And that's the thing you laugh at. And it's like, oh, because they keep rolling their eyes and they're astonished, as opposed to being this really heartwarming thing where he's very earnest. And he's a straight man. Every comedy needs a straight man, and he's a natural straight man, which makes it really, really funny. He definitely gets the buy-in.
All right, so Laura, there were actually some court and jury conventions in this show, even though there weren't a ton, but there were some. My personal favorite was The View. I loved when they went to the, the scene of the alleged crime, and then they had the little Westworld little nod scene in the room with the mannequins, which was very funny. What was your favorite actual court legal type thing that they did in this show called Jury Duty, which was only kind of about jury duty?
Well, it's interesting. We laugh because it was really funny. And obviously this is a comedy and this is like a punk sort of thing. But as somebody that's worked in the court system and been there for jury selection and seen the other side of the people showing up, they had the procedure accurate. And I especially loved when there was like ineffective assistance of counsel. And I'm like, oh my God, do you know how many times that comes up? Always one of my personal favorites. When then somebody wants to represent themselves pro se, and they do, and then it's a real show. I remember as a reporter covering a case where this guy like was able to convince the court that he was going to be a pro se defendant. And he would just like launch into these like diatribes in the middle, like, 1776 and what happened are you familiar with the spirit of 1776? And so, which
do you know what that flag with the fringe means?
Yeah. And it was like, and you hear this and you're like, that sounds ridiculous. That didn't happen. But then you see this show and you're like, oh, no, some of the real life things that I've seen could actually have happened in this show. I also really, first of all, also the animation recreation of how everything happened. I was like,
that was great.
Was that? That was super fun.
It's what a rich person could like afford, right? Like one of those, one of those like Korean animation
Taiwanese
studios.
news.
Oh, Taiwanese, yes.
Yeah. And now we are in the court. Yeah. Well, I did cover when I was working for the Associated Press, I covered a death penalty case. It was a very wealthy person. And he had like this montage put together at the end of the case with like music and videos. And I'm like, wow, like clients at the public defender don't get this kind of video. So yeah, I just think it was great. And the judge was fantastic. The judge was like, I felt like I was watching like a Judge Judy judge, but he pushed it a little bit, but he kept it in check enough until the end during the big reveal.
So one of the things that they said in the reveal episode, which I actually want to ask you about too, Toby, what you think about the way they did that, but they said that they did not expect Ronald to be as invested in the legal case as he ended up being, that he didn't expect him to pay as much attention, they didn't expect him to be as thoughtful and as like, invested in that part of it as he was. They thought it was mostly going to be about the interpersonal reactions, but he took that role extremely seriously. What do you think about that?
Well, as he should, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it was a civil trial though. I mean, a lot of people I think would enter that situation even earnestly and be like, maybe not handle it with as high a stakes sort of attitude, especially given the absurdity of the actual case, the absurdity of the plaintiff even, which is very much like a Gwyneth Paltrow level, like rich person kind of situation.
Look, I was in a timber taking trial and it was a complete freak show. And
we need a t-shirt about the timber taking trial, by the way.
We took
Don't
it
take the
seriously,
timber.
man. And it was like the actual trial itself was, I would say, at least as weird as that one was. The jury wasn't quite as distracting, but there was just some bizarre shit that happened like while court was in session. And we still, people were pretty focused. We realized it was going to be a big deal for one of the two sides, unless you kind of split the middle, which is what ended up happening. I guess I would have been disappointed if he hadn't taken it seriously, if he just got so wrapped up in all these like little side things that it's like, I don't really give a shit about the actual thing I'm here to do.
Yeah. I just give a shit about the lunch order. The food situations were so fraught.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
In this documentary, they made the food stuff so fraught. I just want to say a side note that we were talking about, I was talking with Jason Moon the other day about Bear Brook and the jurors and stuff because we're preparing for this event thing we're doing. And he had a very good question. Why are jurors allowed to deliberate? Aren't you supposed to just take the evidence and like make a decision based on what you know? Like, why are they allowed to try to convince each other of stuff? Isn't that weird? Think about it. Just like leave that thought there. So, Kevin, who are your favorite jurors in this?
Well, I mean, I think Jeannie and Noah are great, and kudos to Todd for keeping a straight face with all the goofy stuff. Ken became one of my favorites for some
with
reason.
His gambling problem. I loved him.
I like at the end the actor said it was so hard to talk as slow as Ken. I think it's a hard character, I think, to keep up for 2 weeks. So kudos to that actor. His name is Ron Song. So I don't know if he's up for an Emmy, but he ought to get some consideration.
Just like making up the fake game with the rules.
You drop those sticks. Oh, look where it's pointing. It's touching this.
Oh, no.
Like, 100 multiplier.
I owe you $2,000. He's like, no, I'm not taking your $2,000. Yeah. I mean, that really, I think, was a real reveal about Ronald right there. It was really incredible.
Oh, it's okay. No. You're so kind. I'm not taking $20 from you, let alone $2,000.
Oh, we won't do that.
No.
Yeah, we won't. But I must pay my debt.
No, this is all for fun, man. This is
This is just for fun. Don't worry about it.
Yes, that was very fun for me.
Okay, so before we wrap up, we have to talk about the choice that was made in the storytelling structure here. A lot of reality shows like this, the audience would be in on the backstage of it from the beginning, and we would have seen the manipulation happening in real time, and we would have been like, that's usually how it's done. This show did not do that. This show did the whole final episode as a pull back the layers reveal. Laura, it starts with the judge bringing him in and telling him, here's what happened, and we find out along with Ronald how it all worked. Laura, how did you feel about that storytelling choice in this show?
I loved it. And it was fun because, you know, as the judge was beginning to like fess up to Ronald, you're waiting to, I mean, I was like, oh, Ronald's going to have a huge reaction. And he just kind of sat there, like he kind of took it in. At first, I think he almost thought it was a joke. And he's like, oh. But I think for me, when they then went around and opened up the door to show all of the people that were there in this sort of makeshift studio working on this the whole time, I really loved when they were showing the clips of how they were deciding to do certain things. I mean, I just thought it was great because it really, for me, watching it, I'm thinking, oh, like, yeah, they've just got documentary people following them around, whatever. They're going to see what they can get on tape. But it was a lot more scripted and choreographed than I initially realized, because I was looking at it thinking this is more like improv comedy, really. Mm-hmm. And it was, but improv comedy with an entire team behind the scenes, you know, helping it unfold. Like the poop scene.
Yeah. Had to construct the poop. Well, it made sense of why they had a whole second group over another hotel, because they were rehearsing for things that they had to do with Ronald. Like they were able to that's the reason why they had a whole separate group of actors at a separate hotel, was because they were rehearsing. They were trying to figure out how they were going to get Ronald to do certain things. The fact that they had him isolated doing a COVID test while they took the whole cast over to the warehouse to figure out how they were going to get him up the stairs because they had to respond in real time to things they didn't expect him to do. Toby, how did you feel about the way that they revealed all that to us in one condensed episode?
So I haven't watched much reality TV, so I don't know really what the conventions are. But I thought it was interesting. I mean, it made sense. So the whole time you're in on it, right? So, I mean, part of the fun is watching these actors kind of manipulate things to set up these situations that are totally pushing the envelope of believability. And then just to kind of see what goes into it. I think like Laura was saying, that you can definitely watch it and be like, wow, these people are really yes-anding it and making it all work. But in fact, there's this whole plot that they're sort of moving along in that way with all these little side things and manipulations. Of all the episodes, that was the kind of one that went on. I feel like they had to fill up the full 23 minutes or whatever. So there are times it's like, okay, get the picture. But, you know, whatever. I mean, for the most part, the whole thing was very funny and engaging.
Didn't you feel, Kevin, though, it also showed us how other reality TV is made? I felt you know what I mean?
But I think that we would be, you know, way more interested in how this gets pulled off. You know, we start from the beginning with just really knowing this much. We think we're in on it, but we really aren't in on a lot of it. We're in on what Ronald is up to and that these guys are all acting, but you're right, we don't see any of how the sausage is made. And that's okay, because first of all, the show plays to the audience like an actual sitcom. The whole thing isn't people winking at the camera, right? The story, almost if you miss the part that Ronald isn't in on it, you know, those episodes could be a regular sitcom.
Yeah.
You've got the Jason Bateman in Arrested Development character in the middle of it, because they keep playing that part to the camera. And even when they're outside of Ronald's point of view, you know, they do things
to the camera. They speak to the camera in character.
Yeah, they do. And so that whole part continues to go along, and I think you need it. And it isn't until the end. Now, if they kept bumping into episodes and you see the producers and them talking about stuff all the way through, that would really sort of pop that bubble for us. And so it isn't until the end and you're like, man, how did they do it? And that I thought was tearing down that fourth wall completely and showing us those things that maybe in another show you would see as they go, you know, in real time as it went along. I just thought it was really inspired.
So, Kevin, who is sponsoring this fine episode?
Oh, it's our friends from Quince.
My favorite friends.
Spring is here, and it's perfect time for a closet reset, focusing more on quality over quantity. And this season, build a wardrobe of pieces that are well-made, versatile, and easy to reach for every day with Quince. Now, Rebecca, you are, I don't want to say the official Quince ambassador.
I am. I am accepting the role proudly.
Okay, you accept that role. Tell us about the latest thing that you got from Quince.
Well, Kevin, this isn't the latest thing, but it's my favorite thing, and it's time to take it out of the closet.
Okay.
My cognac leather motorcycle jacket.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I have one in black now, too, by the way. After I wore the first one like 50 times in 40 days, I immediately had to buy the other one. Yes, I love these leather jackets. They're incredibly high quality for the price, and just incredibly high quality and gorgeous, period. Every single time I wear them, I get so many compliments, and spring means it's leather jacket season.
Refresh your spring wardrobe with Quince.
Quince!
Go to quince.com/crime.
Crime.
For free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too.
Yeah.
Go to QUINCE.com/crime.
Crime.
For free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/crime.
Crime. All right, let's do what we do. Let's let our listeners know, should they check out Jury Duty? It's on Freevee, which you can get through Amazon Prime and the Freevee app. Laura Bricker, what do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down for Jury Duty?
Well, yeah, I love Freevee for shows like Magnum P.I. and Murder, She Wrote, other shows that I have watched on the Freevee app late at night when I can't sleep. I really like this. I thought this was super fun. We watch a lot of heavy true crime and crime documentaries. And, you know, this was light, but I do think despite it being light and comedic, it really did give an accurate window into what the jury process is like for jurors, which can sometimes be absurd, depending on who's in the trial. So I would recommend this. It was a lot of fun to watch. I watched it over the weekend, and then I rewatched certain parts that I wanted to see again, like there was a certain bed scene that was very entertaining to me that I watched a few times because I was like, that's really funny. So thumbs up for me.
Toby Ball, what do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down for Jury Duty?
Yeah, I'm a thumbs up. I mean, it's very funny. It's light. It's sort of good-hearted. And I don't have a whole lot more to say about it other than that. But I think it's a fun summer watch. Period.
Kevin Flynn.
Yeah, I'm a big thumbs up. I thought that this was unique and surprisingly heartwarming without spoiling anything. The character that they get in the middle here, Ronald, is just, it isn't until the end when they start talking about what he experienced, when other people are telling him what they observed about him, that you realize, yeah, this was a great guy. And even though it was a weird, entertaining situation for us, he was really the heart and soul of this entire comedy reality thing. I wish there were more things like this, but I don't think I don't think you can do it like that once word gets out about how good this is. So maybe this is a one and done, a unique thing, but I certainly enjoyed it, and I hope other people get to watch it.
Yeah, I love Jury Duty. Huge thumbs up for me. Yeah, I think everyone has already said what I wanted to say. I just want to say it's one of the most uplifting things I've watched in a long time, and I didn't expect that. So yeah, big thumbs up for me for Jury Duty. Kevin, I cannot tell you how often I still think about Jury Duty. It is one of my favorite things that has ever been made for television. It is truly incredible.
That was my number one pick for television for 2023. Yeah. I think it might have been your first or second.
It was also mine, yes.
Yeah, it was on 3 of our lists. It was just so life affirming, and I really loved it. And
smart. And showed court stuff, like real court stuff.
And the final episode when they sort of pulled back the curtain to see the big surprise about how they did it, just incredible.
Shouldn't have been good, but the final episode was fantastic. Like, it should have just been like a clips episode, right? And
right,
it was
exactly.
So clever.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, we're going to set that all aside, and we will see if Jury Duty 2 lives up to its predecessor.
Can't wait. This show was recorded in Studio C, the closet in our New Hampshire basement, where we also would totally take the blame for James Marsden's giant turd that clogged the toilet. 100% I would. On behalf of all the crime writers, thanks so much for listening. We will catch you later.
Partners in Crime Media.